Hey everyone, my name is Michael and I play drums and percussion for the band Kolm, and I'm just giving you guys a little tour of my drum kit. This acoustic kit that I have is a Pearl Master Studio series with birch shells. This is a great sounding drum kit. The rack toms are 8x8 and 10x10, and these two floor toms are actually orphan drums. They don't belong to the actual Pearl kit. This is a 14x14 Gretsch Catalina maple floor tom, and this is an 18x18 Yamaha birch floor tom. This came from an old drum kit that I had that actually sold that kit and just kept this drum because it's a great sounding low end drum. It sounds like a gong drum. This snare drum I have is a limited edition PDP DW Babinga Maple Blend snare drum. It's a 14x8, so it's a lot deeper than most other traditional snare drums. This is a great drum because it's got a lot of tuning capability. It sounds great high, it sounds great mid. I tend to tune mid to low with this snare and it sounds really good. Even with it off, it sounds great. It sounds like a timbale. You can make it sound really staccato. You can make it sound like a tom. This thing can do a lot. It's pretty much 2-ply of Babinga on the outside, 14-ply of maple on the inside, and then another 2-ply of Babinga on the inner core of it for a total of 18-ply. So they still sell these. You see them online, but they're about 300 bucks. They only made, I think, 500 of them. So this is a great bargain. It costs a lot less than what it should. So yeah, that's the acoustic kit. The cymbals are all, for the most part, Paiste signatures. Also 2002 models I have. But just going down the line from the left side, this is a Zildjian 14-inch china. I cannot find a Paiste 14-inch china. I don't know if they exist or not. So I've had this thing for a few years, and this is great for like embellishments, accents, stuff like that. I like to be inclusive with the way I play it, not just standard hi-hat, kick, snare stuff. I'm always adding in extra drums, and this thing makes for a great like accent or embellishment. These are 2002 model cup chimes, or accent cup chimes rather. This is a 6-inch and this is an 8-inch. Sort of the same thing. I jacked this idea from Terry Bozzio, who had a bunch of these like melodic things stacked up on top of each other, and he was able to play melodies on them. And they make for great embellishments and in the middle of the measure kind of accents, stuff like that. These crash cymbals, they're all 18 inches. This is a signature full crash. This is a signature power crash. And on this side, this is a signature 2002 wild crash. I love these things. They sound great, really good projection. These hi-hats are 13-inch hi-hats. I tend to use smaller hi-hats because they sit better in a mix. They're a little bit higher pitch, so you don't have to increase the volume as much for them to sound good, which a lot of engineers I hear end up doing, and kind of sounds intrusive. This ride cymbal is a 20-inch dry heavy ride, Paiste signature dry heavy, hand hammered. And this thing I got because of the articulation. I play a lot of syncopated patterns on a hi-hat or on the ride cymbal, and in thinner cymbals, when you play syncopated patterns, they get lost in washy overtones and sustain, and you can't really hear the pattern. So despite what the note grouping is, each stroke, physical stroke of the stick hitting the cymbal comes through at the same level. So it makes syncopated patterns really cool. It's got a great detached bell, so that's one other reason I really like this cymbal. This one is called Camber. I've never heard of this brand, but it's like an LP ice bell or another cup chime. It's 9 inches, but kind of the same thing as this. It just provides little accents, little embellishments. Found this thing in a garage sale, 20 bucks, it sounded good. This is a Paiste Alpha china. Yeah, Alpha 18-inch china. This is great for like kind of more aggressive writing. It's got a nice staccato, quick attack on it. I can do really quick beats and like staccato writing 4 on the floor with this thing. This is that Wild Crash, the 18-inch. This is another Zildjian cymbal that I've had. This is a 20-inch Zildjian. It just sounds really good for like climatic, end of the measure accents. I like to do like cymbal rolls on it with yarn mallets or sticks, and this cymbal sounds great for doing that. I keep my hi-hats in front of me. It's just a lot more of a natural position for me instead of having to do this crossover thing. I don't like it. I have to do a choreography of when to pull my left arm away from my right so I don't click my sticks or smack my hands together. And a cool byproduct of that is this entire left side is now open for all these pads, all these extra cup chimes and cymbals and stuff like that. So it actually kind of like by proxy increases my limb independence just simply by having stuff here. I'm forced to now use my left hand more, and then helps with your overall like limb independence and stuff like that. Which brings me to these pads. I used to use Roland, like the SPDS, the SPD-120. Those got kind of cumbersome, and they had their own sounds, and you could use it for MIDI. But these are strictly MIDI controllers. These are Alesis Sample Pad Pros. They have 6 square pads plus 2 bar pads on the rim, so you have a total of 8 per pad. So I have 16 of them because I got one on my left side and one on my right side. And there are no onboard effects to these. There's no onboard library of sounds. It's strictly a controller. All my sounds are triggered from Ableton. And us in Kolm, we use Ableton Live to create sounds, to record stuff, to trigger stuff live when we play shows. And it's a really simple, user-friendly way of accommodating for electronics and recording and, electronic stuff. We do a lot of like electronic, synthy, ambient, soundscape-ish stuff, and all that's done through Ableton. The beauty of this thing is, again, it's easy, just drag and drop. All these right here are just little drum racks that I can drag any sound that I create or any sound out of a sample library. Just drag and drop and assign it to a pad. So I have all of these. You can hear these samples. Each one of those individual sounds I would play live within a pattern. It's not a backing track. I would actually play a pattern out with it along with the acoustic kit, and I actually assign each one of these pads a specific sound. So this will always be that drum unless I switch songs, then I have a whole other palette of sounds that's automatically saved and assigned to each pad. So it's really simple to use. I do a lot of stuff with synths and pads and stuff like that. So I have another Alesis QX25 2-octave MIDI controller keyboard. And just like the pads, there's no onboard effects or no onboard sounds or samples or anything like that. It's all triggered and created through Ableton and triggered on these keyboards and on these pads. So it really gives me a whole other repertoire of sounds to draw from. And Kolm is only 3 of us in the band, so we have to kind of take more responsibility with the sound creation because there's only 3 of us. So it makes it fun, but it's challenging at the same time. Yeah, so this is pretty much my kit. The drum heads I use are Evans EC2s, and they have this internal dampening ring, so I don't really need to use a drum dial unless I want to get super specific. It's made for self-tuning on the fly. You can stick this thing on, tune it within 30 seconds, and get a really good like approximate sound without having to specifically tune it with like a drum dial or a tuner or anything like that. So Evans EC2s. Yeah, and this is my drum kit. I tend to set up in a way that's really symmetrical. I don't like to struggle. I try to look for efficiency in playing. And I have, you can kind of see it from this angle where I sit in the middle. There's a snare, there's the 2 toms, hi-hats in the middle, 2 crashes on each side, 2 pads on each side, chinas on each side, little cup chimes on each side. It's so I don't have to twist in one way too much or one way or the other and then come back to this side. I can keep my breathing loose, keep my body loose, and I have something on each side of the kit, so regardless of what instrument I want to hit, whatever hand can do it. So it's, I guess, much more like ergonomic and like physically practical for the way I play. I also set my cymbals lower, kind of like jazz drummers do. Jazz drummers play in triplets and a lot of swung 8th notes, and they're not always landing on their right hand on a 1. There's a lot of times they'll have to start a rhythm or end a figure on their left hand on the 3rd bar of a measure. So they need access to a cymbal or a tom quickly. So a lot of jazz drummers, their stuff is set really low, really compact, really close together, and I kind of took that approach of a way to like assist my body and kind of cheat getting to cymbals quicker. So yeah, this is my drum kit, and thanks for checking it out.